You're 25, scrolling through Instagram at midnight, and the feed hits like a freight train. One friend just launched a startup. Another posted a sunrise yoga retreat in Bali. A third is celebrating a promotion with champagne emojis. Meanwhile, you're in sweatpants, eating cold pizza, wondering why your side hustle hasn't taken off, why therapy feels like another chore, and why adulting is a full-time job on top of your full-time job. You should be in your prime. Instead, you're bone-tired before the decade even ends. This isn't laziness. It isn't weakness. It's a silent epidemic, Gen Z burnout, rooted in an identity crisis nobody warned you about. Let's start with the math. The average 20-something juggles 8 to 10 major life domains: career, finances, relationships, health, personal growth, social life, family expectations, creative passions, civic engagement, and the ever-present online persona. Each demands excellence. Each promises that if you just optimize a little more, you'll finally arrive. But the human brain wasn't built for this overload. Your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of executive function, handles planning, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Flood it with endless inputs, and it shorts out. A 2022 study in The Lancet found that Gen Z reports burnout symptoms at twice the rate of millennials at the same age, with 59% describing chronic exhaustion and 41% experiencing depersonalization, feeling like a robot going through motions. The crisis begins with a toxic cultural script: hustle plus, heal plus, side hustle. Hustle culture glorifies 80-hour weeks and rise and grind mantras. Healing culture demands you unpack childhood trauma, journal daily, meditate twice, and therapy speak your boundaries. Side hustle culture insists passive income is mandatory or you're failing capitalism. These aren't separate lanes, they're piled onto the same narrow road. You're expected to climb the corporate ladder while launching an Etsy shop, attending breathwork circles, and curating a personal brand that screams, "I've got my shit together." The result? Cognitive overload, decision fatigue, a dopamine system fried from constant context switching. Neurochemically, it's a perfect storm. Every domain switch costs glucose and activates the anterior cingulate cortex, triggering microstress. A 2021 Origin Nature Human Behavior study tracked 300 young professionals with wearables. Those managing 5 or more life projects showed 70% higher evening cortisol and 50% lower deep sleep. Your body thinks it's in perpetual fight or flight. Meanwhile, social media amplifies the pressure. Algorithms serve comparison on steroids. Filtered lives, monetized routines, viral morning in the life of a CEO reels. Upward social comparison spikes the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, eroding self-worth. A 2023 meta-analysis in Psychological Bulletin linked daily Instagram use over 2 hours to a 34% increase in burnout risk among 18-29-year-olds. But the deepest wound is identity fragmentation. Gen Z grew up with infinite choice, 500 college majors, 50 dating apps, 10 career pivots before 30. Choice feels empowering until it becomes paralysis. Identity theory, pioneered by Erik Erikson, says young adulthood is about coherence. Who am I across contexts? When every domain demands a different version of you, corporate go-getter by day, wellness guru by night, viral TikToker on weekends, coherence collapses. You don't have an identity, you have a playlist of personas, and switching tracks drains the battery. The exhaustion compounds because rest feels like failure. Saying no to a podcast collab, skipping hot yoga, or logging off at 9 p.m. triggers FOMO and guilt. A 2022 Deloitte survey found 77% of Gen Z feel pressure to work on personal development outside office hours. Rest isn't recovery. It's another task to optimize. Did I meditate enough, track my macros, read the right books? The prefrontal cortex never clocks out. Here's the way out: a 1-week priority audit that ruthlessly realigns your energy without guilt. This isn't another to-do list, it's a permission slip to drop 80% of the noise and double down on the 20% that moves the needle. Science-backed, zero fluff, life-changing in 7 days. Day 1, the energy inventory. For 24 hours, track every activity in a simple note: work task, social scroll, workout, side hustle, therapy homework, family call. Rate each from 1 to 10 on 2 scales: energy given, how draining, and energy received, how fulfilling. No judgment, just data. A 2020 Journal of Applied Psychology. Study showed this exercise alone reduces perceived overload by 28% because it externalizes the chaos. Day 2. The Identity Core. Answer 3 questions in writing, no more than 1 page total. 1. What 3 values define me regardless of context? Curiosity, connection, impact. 2. In 5 years, what evidence would prove I lived those values? 3. Which current activities directly serve that evidence? This taps self-determination theory: autonomy, competence, relatedness. Clarity here cuts decision fatigue by 40% per a 2021 organizational behavior study. Day 3, the 80-20 Purge. List every commitment from day 1, highlight the top 20% that scored 8+ on energy received and directly link to your identity core. Everything else? Ruthless cuts. Use the hell yes or no rule from Derek Sivers. If it's not a 10-10 alignment, delegate, delay, or delete. Send the emails, decline the invites, block the apps. A 2019 Harvard Business Review. Analysis found that eliminating low-value tasks frees 15 hours weekly on average. Day 4. The Batching Blueprint. Group remaining high-value activities into 3 blocks, max per day. Deep work, career side hustle, connection, relationships, restoration, health, sleep. No more than 1 block per category. Context switching costs 23 minutes of recovery time per switch, per American Psychological Association. Batching preserves glucose and focus. Day 5. The Boundary Script. Craft 2 sentences for saying no without apology. I'm focusing on core project right now, so I'll pass, but thank you. And for social media, I'm on a content diet to protect my energy. Catch up soon. Practice aloud. Boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. A 2022 Journal of Personality study found assertive boundary setting increases perceived competence by peers, not resentment. Day 6. The Restoration Ritual. Schedule 1 non-negotiable 90-minute block for pure recovery. Walk without podcasts, bath without phones, nap without guilt. Sleep researcher Matthew Walker's data shows a single 90-minute restorative period boosts next day prefrontal function by 20%. This isn't luxury, it's maintenance. Day 7. The Reflection Loop. Review the week. What drained, what energized, adjust one thing. Make the audit monthly. Identity evolves, but coherence compounds. Real-world proof. A 2023 pilot at a tech startup gave 150 Gen Z employees this exact protocol. After 1 month, burnout scores dropped 52%, engagement rose 38%, and voluntary turnover fell 29%. Participants reported sleeping 45 minutes more nightly and feeling like myself again for the first time in years. Advanced tweaks for sustainers. Use the Eisenhower matrix quarterly. Urgent, important grid to keep cuts sharp. Adopt a 1 in, 1 out rule. New commitment means dropping an old one. Track identity wins weekly. Small proofs you lived your values. Celebrate with dopamine-friendly rewards. Live music, friend dinner, new book, not another productivity app. The crisis ends when you stop performing adulthood and start curating it. You're not a machine with infinite bandwidth. You're a human with finite, precious energy. The audit isn't about doing less for less. It's about doing less of what fractures you and more of what forges you. Start tonight. Open your Notes app. Begin the inventory. In 7 days, you won't just feel less exhausted. You'll feel like the author of your own story, not a character in everyone else's highlight reel. Because the real side hustle isn't another income stream. It's reclaiming the energy to become who you're meant to be. Before 30, not after.